All right, so now let's take a look at the next chemical reaction, which is lighting a match. So you guys would have seen a matchstick has a head, right? And that head of the matchstick has antimony trisulfide, which is a combustible substance. What is the meaning of combustible? All right, so it will burn easily, and that's what a combustible substance means. And so the head of the matchstick has antimony trisulfide, which is a combustible substance. Okay, antimony trisulfide is a chemical. Okay, it is present inside inside the head of that matchstick. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So antimony trisulfide is present in the head of the matchstick. Along with that, potassium chlorate is also present. Potassium chlorate is an oxidizing agent. What that means is it releases oxygen. Okay, so oxidizing agent is nothing but anything that releases oxygen. And remember what happens when you release oxygen? It burns. The flame, you know, there is more flame. There is more burning when you have oxygen present. So, so antimony trisulfide is it easily catches fire, and potassium chlorate releases oxygen. So now what happens is, that is about the head of the matchstick. What about the surface on the matchbox where you strike the matchstick? Have you guys ever touched that surface, felt it? How do you guys feel when you touch that surface? Okay, so you will notice that is, so now that striking surface has to be kind of like sandpaper or glass powder, both of which are pretty rough. Okay, so when you strike the match to this thing, there is friction produced. Friction means, for example, when I rub my hands. Correct. So whenever I rub two surfaces on my hands or on your hands, you'll notice that there are tiny, tiny lines. Okay. So these lines create friction. Okay. And when I rub my hands together, heat is produced. Similarly, when I take a matchstick and I strike the surface of the matchbox, which has, by the way, the surface of the matchbox has red phosphorus. That is why when you notice it, you'll see red colored, you'll see that the surface of that striking surface is red in color. And that red phosphorus has low ignition temperature. Can you tell me what is the meaning of ignition? When something lights up. Very good. So when something ignites, when something catches fire at low temperatures very, very easily, that is called a low ignition temperature substance. Okay. So red phosphorus is a very low ignition temperature substance. So when I strike this thing, what happened? Friction is produced, little heat is produced. And because of that heat, because red phosphorus has very low ignition temperature, it catches fire very easily, and that fire is like transmitted to the antimony trisulfide, which is on the head of the matchstick. Okay, because that is a combustible substance, so that starts to burn. What else is there in the head of the substance? Potassium chlorate, which is an oxidizing agent. So that starts releasing oxygen, okay, because of the heat, and it continues to keep the fire burning. Okay, so we require oxygen in order to continue the fire to burn. Also, there is oxygen in the atmosphere, but in order for it to, you know, burn even more, we also add potassium chlorate so that it burns even more and it continues to burn. It does not dim out very easily. Okay. Now tell me, is this a reversible process? So this is not a reversible process, and it is a chemical change. Okay. So let us proceed. All right. So what are some of the examples of chemical changes? They are listed over here, but we'll just go over them. Cooking food is an example of a chemical change. Food turning bad after a few days, that is also an example of a chemical change. So once you cook food, can you get it back into its raw form?
No, ma'am.
No. Once the food has gone bad, can you get it back into its good form?
No, ma'am.
Very good. Curdling of milk. Once the milk has curdled, can you get it back into its milk form? Nope.
No,
Very
ma'am.
good. Yeah, fading of color, fading the colors of clothes, germination of seeds, ripening of fruits, lighting of a matchstick by striking the match head. We just saw that. Digestion of food within our bodies, respiration by humans, plants, animals, decaying of old pieces of wood, rusting of iron, blackening of silverware, hardening of cement, fermentation of sugar, solution to alcohol, burning of wood, coal, kerosene, so on. All of these are non-reversible changes.